When Jesus is talking to the Pharisees, you know there's tension. So he doesn't lecture them. He does something that's much more devious. He tells them a story. Now, this is the story. There was a rich man, unnamed, and an unknown with a name, Lazarus. And you know the story. It's a story to try to make a point. Now, I don't think we want to moralize. There's nothing terribly, totally intrinsically wrong with wealth and wonderful with poverty. It's not precisely that. It's not about that, because there's no culpability from what we know that the rich man did anything against Lazarus. So it's not that he did something wrong. But isn't it interesting that after they're both dead, the rich man knows the name of Lazarus? Means he must have known him before he died. How would he have known him afterwards? Now, what was going on that if he knew his name beforehand, he didn't respond to the guy's needs? That's where the rub is. Why did you not do for the person in front of you when it was the moment to do it? Apparently you knew who he was. Now things have reversed, and now you want this character to come to take care of you. This thing about a chasm between us and them, you have to be careful not to interpret this, that God is not a God of second chances. I think for our purposes tonight, the real issue is, if you miss the moment, it may not come back. That's why we need to be alert day by day in our lives. What is asked of me today, if I miss it, if I don't do the right thing today, say, tomorrow I'll come back and take care of it. There's no guarantee that's going to happen. In thinking about this gospel, I thought of a song from 1974. Is anybody that old? Harry Chapin, Cats in the Cradle. If I'd have planned this in advance, I'd have played it, because the song is haunting. When I hear this song, I want to cry. And my homily is going to read you the lyrics. I think this enfleshes in our time this gospel. A little piece beforehand, a little bit of background. The song's lyrics began as a poem written by Harry's wife, the former Sandra Gaston. I just found that out. I should check and see if we're related. The poem itself was inspired by the awkward relationship between her first husband and his father, who was a New York City politician. She was also inspired by a country music song she had heard on the radio. Harry also said the song was about his own relationship with his son Josh, admitting frankly, "This song scares me to death." So here it is. I'm not singing it. Cats in the Cradle. My child arrived just the other day. He came to the world in the usual way, but there were planes to catch and bills to pay. He learned to walk while I was away. And he was talking before I knew it. And as he grew, he said, "I'm going to be like you, Dad. You know, I'm going to be like you." And the refrain, and the cat's in the cradle, and the silver spoon, little boy blue, and the man on the moon. When you coming home, Dad? I don't know when, but we'll get together then. You know we'll have a good time then. My son turned 10 just the other day. He said, "Thanks for the ball, Dad. Come on, let's play. Can you teach me to throw?" I said, "Not today. I got a lot to do." He said, "That's okay," and he walked away, but his smile never dimmed and said, "I'm going to be like him, yay. You know I'm going to be like him." And the cat's in the cradle and the silver spoon, little boy blue and the man on the moon. When you coming home, Dad? I don't know when, but we'll get together then. You know, we'll have a good time then. Well, he came from college just the other day. So much like a man, I just had to say, "Son, I'm proud of you. Can you sit for a while?" He shook his head and said with a smile, "What I'd really like, Dad, is to borrow the car keys. See you later. Can I have them, please?" And the cat's in the cradle and the silver spoon, little boy blue and the man in the moon, etc. I called him up just the other day. I said, "I'd like to see you if you don't mind." He said, "I'd love to, Dad, if I can find the time. You see, my new job's a hassle and kids have the flu. But it's sure nice talking to you, Dad. It's been sure nice talking to you." And as I hung up the phone, it occurred to me, he'd grown up just like me. My boy was just like me. And the cat's in the cradle and the silver spoon, little boy blue and the man in the moon. When you coming home, son? I don't know when, but we'll get together then, Dad. We're going to have a good time then. If I have to explain to you the connection of this song to the gospel, you're in trouble. Does it make sense? You missed the moment, and it will not come back. Now, I do not share this with you to lay guilt on anybody. We all miss moments. The gospel is a wake-up call to today. If today you hear his voice, harden not your hearts. We've all made mistakes in our past. That's not the point. The point is, are we ready now to see Lazarus where he is under our nose, rather than act like he's not there? Or being so self-absorbed and narcissistic and self-centered that all we think about is ourselves, or we're so preoccupied that we see nothing or nobody and their need. Or we feel so bad we can't imagine that other people could have suffering too. Lazarus is in our midst. Let us greet him, respond to him, and embrace him here, so that he and all will be embraced when we all are in the bosom of Abraham.